A federal high court sitting in Gusau orders the EFCC to put a publication on the Nigerian national dailies. Supreme Court adjourned Governor Tambuwal appeals for calm restraint. President Muhammadu Buhari approves the setting up of 2 committees for Mambila hydroelectric power project. Vice President Osibanjo lays foundation for Kano Cancer Treatment Center. On business, Nigeria loses over $7 billion annually to piracy. On the international scene, President Buhari commiserates with Niger President over terrorist attack. Welcome to Standard Voice Television News. I am Musa Joy Onyiyoza. Now the news in full. A federal high court sitting in Gusau has ordered the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) Sokoto Zonal Office to put a publication on the Nigerian national dailies seeking people with interest in the 60 million naira the anti-graft agency confiscated from the younger brother of the former secretary to the government of Zamfara State, Professor Abdullahi Mohammed Shinkafi. The order followed an application by the EFCC Sokoto Zonal Office to the Federal High Court to grant its application for the publications on the national dailies before the final forfeiture of the said amount seized by the agency last year from the Murtala Mohammed Shinkafi, a younger brother to former SSG of Zamfara State. The presiding judge, Justice Fadima Murtala Aminu, said the law's demand for a publication before a final forfeiture of any monies or assets confiscated by the anti-graft agency. Our reporter Dahiru Sumaila Mafara asked Barrister Mohammed Gambo, the counsel to the EFCC, to further clarify on the instruction by the High Court.
My name is Barrister Mohammed Gambo. I'm from the EFCC, Sokoto Zonal Office.
What transpired in the court today?
We filed an application for final forfeiture order in respect of 60 million naira belonging to Zamfara State and a vehicle Prado Jeep. We have moved the application, but unfortunately the court discovered that there is an error. That is, the court is supposed to give an order for publication, which it has not done. So as a result of that, the court now decided to adjourn the matter to enable it order us to make publication in any of the national dailies before it gives its rulings.
The court has adjourned the sitting on the matter to the 11th February 2020. By then, the EFCC might have made the publication. Governor Aminu Waziri Tambuwal of Sokoto State has called on his supporters and people of the state to exercise patience following the adjournment of the ruling of the Supreme Court in the case filed against him by the All Progressives Congress (APC) and its gubernatorial candidates. Governor Tambuwal also asked the people of the state to discountenance any rumor that the suspension was to carry favor for the appellants. The Supreme Court sitting in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, had on Monday morning adjourned its sitting, in which it was expected to deliver its rulings in the case filed against Governor Tambuwal and 6 other incumbent governors by their challengers. This decision by the Apex Court was said to have been informed by the tumultuous crowd of people who besieged the hallowed chamber to witness its verdict. The adjournment may also be attributed to the alleged sudden illness of one of the judges. The Chief Justice of Nigeria, Ibrahim Tanko Mohammed, had earlier stormed out of the courtroom following the presence of the large crowd in the premises of the court. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the constitution of 2 committees for the Mambila hydroelectric power project in Taraba State. They are the Interministerial Steering Committee and Project Delivery Committee. The Minister of Power, Engineer Saleh Maman, will chair the Interministerial Steering Committee, which the Director in charge of Renewable Energy in the Federal Ministry of Power will head the Project Delivery Committee, reporting to the Minister of Power through the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry. Members of the Interministerial Steering Committee are representatives of federal government agencies and Taraba State government. The federal government agencies involved are Ministries of Water Resources, Environment, Finance, Budget and National Planning, Works and Housing, Justice, Information and Culture, and Mines and Steel Development. Others are representatives of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, National Security Advisor, Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority, and the Nigerian Customs Service. The terms of reference of the Interministerial Steering Committee include facilitating and fast-tracking the execution and project delivery of the Mambila Hydroelectric Power Project, finalizing within 6 months the review of the project engineering and technical design concept to achieve optimal efficiency and benefit. The Interministerial Steering Committee will be supported by Project Delivery Committee, which will be responsible for overseeing the implementation of the project in line with agreed timelines and deliverables, including designs of a framework for post-project operational management that will ensure that the project starts performing from the point of delivery. Also, an independent consultant will serve as a project coordinator to coordinate the administrative and stakeholder aspect of project implementation. The Federal Ministry of Power is expected to announce the date for the inauguration of the committees soon. Vice President Professor Yemi Osibajo on Monday laid the foundation stone of Kano Cutting Edge Cancer Center in Kano, initiated by Governor Omar Abdullahi Ganduje after visiting Melbourne, Australia, and making a replica of the World Cancer Center in Melbourne. Discussing the National Cancer Control Plan by the federal government with the intention of curbing the problem, which he said states were invited to be part of the stakeholders, he commended Kano State for being in the forefront in this direction. A statement issued by the Chief Press Secretary to Kano State Governor Abba Unwar on Monday and forwarded to the Solace Base said the Vice President noted that the center is not meant for Kano alone, but it is for the whole nation. The Vice President commended the Governor for his foresightedness, dedication, and patriotism and described the effort as a great work. A statement said Governor Ganduje gave the historical account of how the center comes on board, revealing that they study that cancer is becoming prevalent, with prostate cancer affecting men and cervical and breast cancer disturbing women. Governor Ganduje explained that they visited Melbourne, Australia World Cancer Treatment Center, and the administration was satisfied with what he saw there, which informed his administration to work towards making something identically similar to that in Kano State. He said experts on cancer from across the world were invited to deliberate upon finding an effective way to put in place the facility which is about to take off. He expressed optimism that the center will take care of about 90% of cancer problem of the people. The Vice President commissioned Aminu Dantata flyover of 2 km at Muritala Mohammed Way, Tijani Hashim, Galadima Kano Underpass, Kofarua, laying the foundation stone for the construction of Sheikh Karibullah Nasiru Kabara flyover. Shahuchi and had an interactive section at Gidan Makama Museum on Emir's Palace Road. A chief magistrate court in Kaduna has restrained the Nigerian Union of Journalists and others from holding meetings, election, in the name of Sports Writers Association of Nigeria and NUJ SWAN. This followed a motion filed by Barrister Dan Paul Fredericks in respect of SWAN Board of Trustees on January 9, 2020. In the motion on notice addressed to the respondent from the court holding in Barnawa, Zango H. Jacob, Abdulwahid Oyenka Adubi, and the NUJ, the court also restrained them from any subject matter that refers to the activities of Sports Writers Association of Nigeria. In an interview with newsmen after the order was acquired, SWAN Counsel Barrister Dan Paul said that they had approached a chief magistrate court sitting in Barnawa seeking for an expert order restraining the respondent from taking further steps in respect of SWAN Kaduna chapter or NUJ SWAN from holding meeting congresses or election or anything that borders on SWAN Kaduna state chapter. The learned trial judge advised that the respondent should be put on notice against today, the 14th of January, so that both parties can be heard. Some Nigerian senators have described the 2 million naira Christmas bonus as a fraction of a regular stream of benefits accrued to them as a mere drop in the vast ocean of their Yuletide expenses. Others threatened to cause the Senate leadership some headache upon resumption from their Christmas New Year recess later this month. They explained that it was not enough to meet their Christmas needs. The lawmakers received the 2 million naira on December 18th from the Senate Overhead and Operations account, according to bank transaction alert of 2 senators seen by Premium Times. The purpose of the transaction was not attached to the payment, but lawmakers had been told a few days earlier to expect the funds as their Christmas allowances, according to 3 senators who briefed Premium Times on it. The senator spoke under anonymity as of the time they interacted with Premium Times to avoid a potential backlash from their colleagues, but one of them said they may eventually go public with their complaints if their anger boils over. One senator said they would use the money to take care of their families and constituents. The senator decried the failure of Senate President Ahmed Lawan to understand the scale of responsibility that usually confronts them whenever they visit their constituency. Another senator said lawmakers usually receive far larger amounts in Christmas allowances, wondering why the current assembly that has maintained a cordial relationship with the executive now finds itself receiving much less. The senator said they have been struggling in poverty since they came on board some months ago and asked his distinguished colleagues why they have to be the ones suffering from the excesses of past assemblies. We'll be right back after this short commercial break. Stay tuned.
Fellow Nigerians, do you know that constituency projects are actually your projects? Do you know that constituency projects are funded by the federal government? Do you know that you can track release of constituency project funds for projects located in your constituency and follow up to know how they have been executed? Constituency projects happen because government does not want to leave any community out in development efforts. You have a responsibility to know what constituency project has been planned for your community, how much has been allocated for it, and whether value for money has been delivered. Take ownership of constituency projects located in your community. Protect them because they belong to you. Government knows about your needs and is planning for you. Government needs your help to ensure quality delivery. Know that constituency projects are actually your projects. Protect your constituency project. My constituency, my project.
For information on funds allocated to projects in your constituency, call 0800 2255 4272.
This message is from the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission and the National Orientation Agency.
Welcome back. On business, Jemima Samuel has more detail.
Thank you, Musa Joy. Welcome to Business Desk. A former president, Association of Nigeria Licensed Custom Agents, ANLCA, Prince Olayiwola Shitu, has said the federal government loses over $7 billion on freight costs yearly to criminal activities on the nation's territorial waters. Consequently, he urged the government to put in place measures to stem the tide of criminalities on the territorial waters. Mr. Shitu, who spoke with the nation on the sideline of a stakeholder forum organized by some auto importers in Lagos, added that the federal government needs to invest in maritime security and the local capacity development to reduce piracy on the nation's waters and get a sizable chunk of the over $7 billion of the yearly freight cost. He further said despite the laudable efforts of the Director General, Nigeria Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, Mr. Dakuku Pisicide, the criminal elements in the Gulf of Guinea and within Nigeria's territorial water were still a source of concern. He stressed the importance of the maritime industry to the economy. A maritime lawyer, Mr. Ayo Otolagbe, said shippers spend between $6 to $7 billion yearly on freight costs, while the maritime component of the nation's oil and gas industry is worth an estimated $9 billion alongside seaborne transportation, ocean extractive resource exploitation, and export processing zones. He said as long as our ports and waters are not safe from sea robbers and pirates, Nigeria will not be able to take in expected gain from the maritime industry. He said a safe, secure, and efficient shipping industry will surely help in revitalizing and diversifying the economy of the country away from crude oil exploitation to maritime hub. Otolagbe added that Nigeria, as a member state of the International Maritime Organization (IMO), a specialized United Nations UN agency, is responsible for ensuring that safety and security of shipping and protection of maritime environment. Is responsible for ensuring safety and security of shipping and protection of the marine environment. And that's all we have on Business Desk today. I am Jemima Samuel. Over to Musa Joy.
Thank you, Jemima. And on sports, Sufyan Abubakar has more detail.
Thank you, Joy Musa. My name is Abu Sufyan Abakar, and as usual, I bring the sports updates. Spanish giant Real Madrid defeated City rivals Atletico Madrid in the Super Cup España to win the trophy for the second time in 4 years. Both teams couldn't break the deadlock for the whole 90 minutes plus 30 minutes extra time, thanks to world-class performance from both keepers, Thibaut Courtois and Jan Oblak. Real Madrid had Valverde sent off in the second half of extra time after bringing down Alvaro Morata, who was clear and almost certain to score before the tackle. During the penalty shootout, Saul Niguez and Thomas Partey both missed their respective penalties before Real Madrid's captain Sergio Ramos slot in his penalty to make the final penalty scoreline 4-1 in favour of the Galacticos. And here are the results of the major games played in Europe over the weekend. Manchester United defeated Norwich City 4-0 in the English Premier League. Rashford, Martial and Mason Greenwood were all on the score sheet, while Crystal Palace played a 1-1 draw with Arsenal. Aubameyang scored the opener before getting sent off minutes after Jordan Ayew's equalizer. Chelsea defeated Burnley 3-0 at home. Jose Mourinho's Tottenham Hotspur lost at home to Liverpool FC, thanks to a Roberto Firmino first-half opener to ensure that Liverpool continue their fine run of form. It's now on 12 consecutive victories for Liverpool in the English Premier League. Aston Villa lost at home 1-6 against Manchester City, with Sergio Kun Aguero scoring a hat-trick, now surpassing English legend Alan Shearer in terms of number of hat-tricks in the English Premier League. In Italian Serie A, Juventus defeated AS Roma at the Olympic Stadium, while Inter Milan played a 1-1 draw with Atalanta at the San Siro. Ibrahimovic AC Milan defeated Cagliari 0-2 away, while Lazio defeated Napoli at home 1-0. And that's all we have on sports today. Back to Joy Musa in the studio.
Thank you, Sufyan. And on the international scene. President Muhammadu Buhari on Sunday evening spoke to Nigerian President Muhammadu Yusufu on the telephone to commiserate with him the government and people of Niger Republic over the terrorist attack of January 9, 2020 in China Godra, which killed scores of soldiers in a military base. President Buhari expressed deep sympathy and condolences to the families, friends, and colleagues of the victims. Condemning the heinous attack by the terrorists, the Nigerian leader assured his Nigerian counterpart that Nigeria will continue to work closely with his country and other international partners to overcome terrorism and violent extremism. The president reaffirmed that the perpetrators of such cowardly acts and their sponsors deserve no peace and comfort, stressing that Nigeria stands in solidarity with her allies to ensure that justice is served. That has been the news from Standard Voice Television. To end the news, a quick look at the major headlines. A federal high court sitting in Gusau orders the EFCC to put a publication on the Nigerian National Dailies. Supreme Court adjourned Governor Tambuwal appeals for calm restraint. President Muhammadu Buhari approves the setting up of 2 committees for Mambila Hydroelectric Power Project. Vice President Yemi Osibanjo lays foundation for Kano Cancer Treatment Center. On business, Nigeria loses over $7 billion annually to piracy. On the international scene, President Buhari commiserates with Niger President over terrorist attack. Thanks for watching. I still remain Musa Joy Onyoza. Stay tuned.